What's up, everybody? It's your girl Samantha Lee, and I'm back. Okay, what's up? I'm excited for tonight. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind. Y'all know, but yes, let me go ahead and say hi to everybody in the live. Let me say hi to everyone. Seeing 12 hours speak live. Sis needs some inspiration. Back. Okay, I'm ready to be transformed with Samantha Lee. I'm right here. I'm here. I am here. Let me go ahead and get the TikTok here as well. Let me make sure I got my focus on. Make sure that you what's up, everyone? I hope everybody's well. I'm sorry. I'm getting used to being in a different time zone, to be honest with you. And then with that, that's not always easy, but anyway, so that's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and go live here on the TikTok. Okay, so anyway, guys, welcome. You guys know, I don't know why it's kind of dark in my TikTok. I don't know why it look dark. Is that normal? Okay, maybe not. Okay, there we go. It's light now. So anyway, guys, welcome to tonight's show. If you guys don't know me by now, my name is Samantha Lee, and I've been blessed to have a channel on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the YouTube. I have 2 channels here on YouTube, more than just Pretty Podcast. And then I also have this one, Love Samantha Lee. So welcome, guys, to the show. Welcome. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I know last week, I don't know who else, y'all. I was eating, and I had made this sweet potato casserole that was fire. That's gonna be my staple. Every woman got, well, not every woman, but I gotta have a staple. I gotta have a staple. What's it called? I'm gonna have a dish, and my staple dish, if you are inviting me to anything, is going to be the sweet potato casserole. Okay, that's just what it's gonna be. That's just what it's gonna be. So if you invited me to your event, whether it be Christmas, Thanksgiving, or whenever, I'm gonna come through. I'm gonna bring the sweet potato casserole, okay? Because I feel like I done perfected it. I understand what to do. I know what to do with it. Okay. So anyway, that's gonna be my thing. But I want to thank is the microphone. Well, you can't hear me. I don't know what's going on. What you mean fix the microphone? Let me try to. Well, that is what it is. I just want to stop by. Somebody said, "Hey, my love, Sam. Hey, guys, what's up? I'm gonna put the microphone here. So YouTube, if you hear me, okay, good. That's that. The microphone ain't for y'all. The microphone for YouTube. But welcome, you guys. Tonight, I am talking about a dream from God that has changed everything for me. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna keep it 100. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all what it is, what it's not. But I'm gonna tell you about my dream. Okay, and this I believe is gonna be helpful not only for I think I want to encourage men, but I also want to I definitely want to encourage women. This is more for women than it is men. But men, as you know, I always try to keep you guys in the loop in conversations. And I want you guys to know what the Lord is capable of when you start walking with Jesus, what God can do. Okay. What is the microphone not working on my, y'all can't hear me on here? I don't know. Let me try to get off my, oh no. Oh, you know what it might be? Oh, no. I know exactly what it is. Sorry, you guys. That's what it is. Okay. That's better, probably. I apologize, y'all. Sorry, TikTok. I had it connected to my headphones. I don't know why it's, doing that. So, yeah. I had a dream from God that has changed everything. And so with that being said, I want to share with you what God has given me. And again, this is not just for, I know men watch me. This is for women, okay? This is about women. I hope women hear this because, again, God has given me lessons. And I don't take these lessons lightly. These lessons are to teach, okay? You guys see my eyes are red. I was crying so hard today. and they're still red. So that's how hard I was crying. It is one of them days, y'all. One of them days. But God is good, and He obviously, you can see He is giving me peace. And so, like I said, when you call to Him, He will answer you. Jeremiah 3:33. So 33:3. So anyway, let's talk about this dream. So I've told you guys that I have had an encounter with God that has shifted me. This started out wrong, right? I told you I went the law of attraction way. I was visualizing and stuff, and when I did the visualization route, I feel like I went to a different world. Okay, and there's a lot of different how do you say theories about what that was. Like, I don't know if it was like they call it astro something. I don't know what you call it, but I was not in this world, and or I don't believe I was anyway. So from there I kind of opened the door. I did not want to open. You don't want to open either. And I sought out wise counsel to help me get out of this. And then when I got out of it, or I found a way out of it, I started fasting and praying, and God encountered me even when I was going in the wrong direction. Law of attraction is more about you telling the universe what you want. God's will, whether you realize it or not, is you saying, I want your will for my life. Your will is what's best. Your will is what will fulfill you. And whether you realize it or not, what I've learned the hard way is that God's will has a lot to do with what He's created you to want to do. Okay. It's God created you a certain way. He didn't create you this way to say, oh, switch up, you're going to do something you absolutely despise. No, God created you with your desires, and what you'll find is that He works within those desires, but for fulfilling reasons, right? For a fulfilling reason, not just I like this because of nothing. You have what you have because there's something God wants to do in and through that. And so I learned through my time with God that He's not a cruel God. He didn't create you with these desires. It's just, yes, you have these things, you have that attraction, you have the desire to do this and that and the third. He works within those things, and He can make something beautiful out of it. And so again, I am guilty of having a certain view of God that, made me think like God didn't want what I wanted for myself, or like if I did what His will was, it would be something I didn't want to do. And that's not true. God has created me with a desire to do what He wants to do within me. I didn't have to go out of pocket. I just had to figure out what He wanted. And He met me in the midst of me trying to control my thing, right? He met me in that. He met me in me trying to manipulate, in me getting into new age practices. He met me there. And so His plan is better than my own. And I've learned that God is sovereign in all things, that there is nothing that you would be surprised on the journey with God, how much I have seen God took account of every dream. He knew every single thing that I loved, what I wanted to do, and He's worked it for my good. And so, with that being said, there have been dreams about my future spouse. And now I'm not going to get into the details. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty. God has revealed certain things about this person, but I wanted to use this time because God didn't just reveal certain things to me because He, whatever. God revealed certain things to me because there was things I needed to change. And so there was one dream that I had that absolutely, this was in the last week or so, I'm telling on myself, but it shifted me because I never looked at it like that. Okay. So we're going to talk about it again. I'm not going to be, there's only certain things God has given me allowance to speak on. And today what I'm speaking on with my future spouse is what God said I needed to change for this man. Okay. So whoever this man is, whoever you are, if you my man, God already told you, you don't had a dream. We said vows. We locked in. You already know. You're like, I'm getting ready. You're like, Sam, hold on, girl. I'm coming, baby. I just got just a little bit more to go. Whatever that is. Whoever you are, God has been dealing with me on your behalf. I want you to know that. And even in the future, when I look back on this with this person, I want you to know that God's been dealing with me about you. God was dealing with me the whole time about you. And so anyway, in this particular dream, God showed me two women. Two women. I was with these two women. I was observing these two women. And in the dream, I am like one setting, I'm at a gas station, right? And the woman is more on the masculine, she has short hair. She's a little bit heavier set. She's wearing more like I don't remember exactly what she was wearing, but she was wearing bigger clothes, like more, like I said, more masculine clothing. She had a short haircut, and she was at a gas station. I remember this gas station because it looks like the gas station across the street from the Mall of Georgia. I know this gas station looks like that gas station. And I'm parked. She's outside. I walk with her outside as she's going to fill up her gas tank in her motorcycle. And she says to me, she raps a lyric to me. She says, if it ain't peace, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, she basically saying where she was leaving the gas station and she was pursuing her peace, right? But she was on a motorcycle. Then the other side, I saw this other woman, and God had me with her. She was in a grocery store. She was there with a man and a child. The man was playing with the child, and he was like kind of like he had this particular man, I'm assuming has to, God's showing me things, but he was playing well with kids. Okay. So it's a guy that's good with children. He was playing with this child as if he was kind of childlike. Like he had a kid side where he could play with kids, and I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm talking about kids, right? Like my baby age, so a man, so like, I don't know how old the kid, I didn't even see the kid. I knew it was a son. And so, but again, I don't know. That may not be relevant to whether or not he has a son in real life or not. But in the dream, I'm watching this woman be with this man and his child. And he's like, playing around with his son, and she's letting him play. And you're just seeing him kind of be himself and play in a grocery store with his child. And where they are in a grocery store is like a produce section, like it's fruit, produce, vegetables. I'm like looking like, and she's just kind of like watching. She's not stopping it. She's not, because they're like horse playing in the vegetable produce section. Like they horse playing, and she's beautiful. I don't know what she looks like. I can't tell you, but I knew she was beautiful. She was fit, and she was very, very, like, she just kind of like had this elegance about her that was very, like she wasn't trying to stop him from being whoever he wanted to be in that moment. She didn't stop him from being the father that he wanted to be in that moment. She just let him be himself and play with his son in the grocery section, right? So I wake up from the dream and I said, God, what was that? And God said there was two versions of you. Two versions of you. There's one that's leaving on a motorcycle. That's masculine. That's like, I'm pursuing peace. I'm on the motorcycle's like, there's nobody else able to be on that car or whatever on a motorcycle, excuse me. You're on the motorcycle, you're carrying weight because the person, like I said, was a heavier woman. But I was carrying weight that didn't belong to me. And I felt like I needed to protect myself. And that woman was not conducive to the woman, like juxtaposed with the woman that I saw in the grocery store, who's just there. She's with her man. He playing around. He having fun with his son in the store. And she's just there supporting her man. This is not just some man. This is her husband. And she's just there. They're in the produce section, fruit section. So, it's good food, right? They're eating good food, nourishment. Okay. Nourishment, everything in the Bible. It's all about what you eat. When you have dreams about what you're eating, bad food, good food, it's talking about your nourishment, not physical food. Sometimes it is, but it's about spiritual nourishment. You're eating good food. You're in the fruit, vegetable, produce section, right? And so in this dream, she's eating the right foods and she's bringing her family to the right section to eat the right food. And she's allowing them to be themselves. And she's not trying to stop it. She's not trying to control him. She's allowing him to be who he needs to be for his child. And she's just there. Right? She's there supporting it there, but she's there. This is a family unit, right? At the grocery store. And so what God was showing me with that was there are aspects of who I am. And I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm just going to speak for me. There are aspects of who I am, pain built in me. And I don't know if there's any woman on here that can resonate with that, but there's been pain, heartbreak, painful circumstances I've had to recover from and uncover and really, like, even things that generational cycles have taught me to defend myself, to protect myself, to survive, survival instincts. When you in survival mode, family, you know what I'm saying? You're kind of masculine, but can we be real? You can be like, what we're conditioned to be is low-key masculine. And so in this situation, I want to thank Truth. Thank you for starting the giving. Thank you for everybody, even those who hit the Cash App. Cash App is at Love Samantha Lee. But thank you guys for doing that as well. I appreciate y'all. So back to what I was saying. Sorry, Truth. I want to make sure I shout you out, sir. But it was just for me. Can you introduce her to my wife though? It had me understanding that ultimately what I've learned and what I want to teach young women, that I had to learn the hard way, right? I had to learn the hard way. What I had to learn the hard way was the way that I have conditioned or taught myself to be because of pain, because of heartbreak. I had a friend of mine tell me the other day, like, Sam, you're kind of like avoidant. And I'm like, ooh, I kind of am. Yeah. And that's because of the fact that, like, I think we're all conditioned to be low-key avoidant. Like, we want to talk to somebody, we don't talk to them, right? We don't hit them up. We want to talk to them. Guys, y'all know, guys can be think about a girl all day and they're not going to hit that girl up. She could be a frequent flyer in your dream. And you're like, nope, I'm not saying nothing to her. She got to talk to me. No. And it's you, whether you realize it or not, we can call it ego, but it's your protective walls. You've protected yourself. You might have been disappointed in a relationship. You might have given your all and that was rejected. And you're like, you know what? I really don't even want to open myself up again like this. So I got this wall up and I'm not going to allow anybody in. I like this girl and hypothetically I could see myself with her, but I don't know if I can let down these walls. Like, it feels safer in this little cocoon I've made. So I'm going to deal with these women that I kind of don't care about because they can't really hurt me. But the one I really, really want, I'm not going to pursue because she could really hurt me. And that's what pain does, right? That's what pain does. Pain builds walls. Healing builds fences. Why is there a difference between that? Because walls is just the walls of Jericho, right? Thank you, Tommy. Tommy so gave into the live. Let me make sure I go ahead and I don't know how to do this on here. I don't really even know how to, like, utilize this TikTok live thing. Is it like this? Y'all, I don't know. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate that I don't know how to write y'all on here. But yes, somebody asked about the how much Love Samantha Lee is the giving. Oh, there we go. Comment. Okay. Yeah. There you go. Sorry. It's the same thing I do on each one though. Like, that's the same. I don't know. Can I, like, pin it? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, I did it. Okay, great. And then so yes. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate it. I'm gonna try to pin it here. Sorry, y'all. I should have done this before. I wasn't thinking about this at all. And I'm Hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I am going to star it. Am I able to pin it? I don't know. Okay. So I'm gonna do that for a second and I'm gonna take it down because I meant to do that earlier. But y'all, I apologize. That's what Sam gets. Okay, so long story short, we going back into what I'm saying. My whole point with all of this is that when we are in pain, we build walls. And what God was showing me in the dream is that I had built a wall. I had built a wall. Unfortunately, I had built a wall to where I was pushing people out, not letting myself really get too deep because I had been hurt. And that's what trauma will do. Can I be real? I'm a softie. I really am. My heart is like very, very like soft. And I protect myself because you just don't know. You don't know. I've seen things happen. I've experienced a lot of betrayal and things like that. I've given a lot to people and then people don't give, you be giving and then they don't give back, And so I struggle with that. You know what I'm saying? I've struggled with just really dealing with protecting my heart and maybe being too protective of my heart to where I didn't let anybody in. And I want to speak to that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all because I'm not the only one. And what God was dealing with me in this time was like, I need you to rest in your femininity. You being like your own protector is you not resting in femininity. I literally walked up to a woman at my church and she was like praying over me. And she said, as I'm praying for you, I see a crown and it has pink flowers on it. And I'm like, what does that mean? She said, God is crowning you, but he's also asking you to rest in your femininity, rest in him. And what I learned was that a lot of the things that pain had taught me, a lot of things that my generational things had taught me, would not work for my future spouse. I know this is about to step on some toes, man. I already know it's not gonna work. God was already showing me like he did. One is on a motorcycle by herself. One is in a family. Which one you want to be? God was giving it to me like that. God was like, who you want to be? Do you want to be the one in the grocery store with the man and the baby, or you want to be the one on a motorcycle by yourself because you're in self-preservation mode? You out here talking about you're pursuing peace, but really you're pursuing comfort and safety and what you think makes the most sense for you. Like that's not actually you protecting yourself, right? Like that's you isolating yourself and calling it safety. Like you engage in what you think is safe and then you don't, and then you just and all it does is and guys, I want you guys to be honest here. Please don't fluff it up like, oh, I'm good like it, blah, 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 blah. I'm real, you could do all that if you want to, but if I sat down in a room with most men, I don't care who the man is, I don't care what he got going on. If I had a real conversation with any man, most men I've ever spoken to are looking for their one. I don't care what they doing on the outside. I don't care if they club hopping every other day. When I speak to them one-on-one, the desire is there. The belief is not. Y'all got me? The desire is there, but the belief that the woman that they desire is available or is accessible or even exist is not. And I'll be honest with you, women feel that way too. The desire for companionship is clearly there. but the belief that the person that you desire or would be the best fit for you is accessible, available, or even exists is not. And so I say all of this to say God was confronting that belief in me. Because, family, when we trust God and we say we believe in God, we believe in God for jobs, we believe in God for healing, we believe in God for healing our nation and stopping wars. We believe in God for a lot of different things, but what we do not believe in God for is our person. And so we end up choosing people and we end up getting mad at God when we're the one who made that person that person. And we didn't really ask God about it in the beginning. We just thought it was the right thing to do. And then at the end of the day, it doesn't work out. We blame God. We're like, well, we were married and we were this and we were that. And he's like, well, I didn't choose that person. You did. You just told me you was gonna do it. Did we fast? Did we pray? Did we seek the Lord? Did we have a wise counsel? Did we do it God's way? Can't be mad at God for what we decided to enter into and then say, oh, covenant's bad. What you created, God, is trash. And so now we're saying like, oh, forget marriage, forget this, forget that, all the things that he created. No, we in our world have perverted a good thing. We perverted it. And so God had to deal with me, family, because he was like, the man, you could either be the supportive, nurturing woman that's with him at this grocery store and he's shopping with his son, or y'all shopping together because I'm playing the feminine role. I'm doing all the things in this particular dream. Well, the woman is. But in the other part, that person is selfish. That person is looking out for themselves, what makes them feel good, and pursues that. And that is culture. So on the slide, we're going to talk about 3 things God brought up. Well, no, my number is 4. 4 things God has brought up to me in that dream that has changed everything for me. Okay. And so I brought up a little bit about what that is. I've given you a little bit of a head start of like, okay, overarching, what are you saying, Sam? What I'm saying is God said I needed to change. And I know that I was socialized. I was raised in this generation, well, part of it. And I know it's only gotten worse. So I know I'm not the only one who needs to change. There's a lot of women that are watching me, maybe are inspired by me. Maybe, I don't know. You watch me constantly, or you don't like me, you watch me constantly. Either way, I still want to help you. And you may not want help from me. That's fine. You can do it your way's been working. Let it work. But I want to share with you what God shared with me. And so the first thing God gave me that I needed to change, that you can see in the live, was running. In the dream, I'm on a motorcycle and I'm leaving. I'm getting gassing up the tank and I gotta go. It wasn't me. I was watching a woman do it. But it was a version of myself that was in self-preservation mode. And because I was in self-preservation mode, and because I'm afraid of getting hurt again, I'm on G waiting on the O. And when God brings me into a union, when God brings me into a situation with a man, because the next man is God, a chosen person. That's God. That's God brought him into my life. The man that God chooses for me, I have to make a decision to stay, even when I don't got reasons to stay. And listen, in the past, I wasn't seeking the Lord about my relationships. I wasn't seeking about the Lord about, who to do. No, I wasn't doing that. I didn't even know that was something that God did, to be honest with you. And it wasn't until, this year really that I started seeing that God does bring people together, that when you trust God, and you go through his process and you grow through his process, he does bring. If you become, he brings. But a lot of us don't allow the process of becoming. And I'll tell you, it's hard becoming. It is hard becoming. It is It is painful becoming. It really, really is. Why? Because if you see throughout the Bible, you don't know when the time or the hour is you actually become what you've been talked about. Like God has shown me a lot of different things. And I'm like, okay, God, and it's been months, okay, months and months and months and months. And there was people in the Bible that did years and years and did not see what God had shown them in dreams and visions, had spoken over their life. They had not seen the promises fulfilled. Even in, I think it's in Hebrews where he talks about how people left this planet and did not necessarily see what they were believing for in faith. So again, God's process, his ways are completely different than our ways. And so when we are in a process with God, it's becoming, and he decides the when, or he decides what it looked like. I had a situation with recently, I'm like, I didn't want it to happen this way. Like, I don't want it to happen this way, but God, that was God's appointed, that was his choice. It's his world. I live in it. It's his process. And so I say that a lot of people say, oh, I'm waiting on God because they abstinent. No, baby, you not wait. That's a part of it. A part of waiting on God. God is abstinence. Yes. But God, you being abstinent don't make you a wife. I know a lot of abstinent women, they not wives. Yes, I admire in a world that's giving out sexual favors like Halloween candy. I admire that you're not doing what everybody else is doing. However, that doesn't make you a wife. It just don't. There are qualities about being a wife that we do not discuss, that we do not talk about. And God has been dealing with me about those things. And one of those things is that when you surrender to a process with God, and you know a man that's standing in front of you is the man that God has chosen for you. This is your man. This is, God has decided this is your good thing. This is the man. Now this is the man, Sam. This is the man. You can't be so in because family, self-preservation mode is the opposite of femininity. Self-preservation and protecting yourself and doing the men historically were the protectors of the home. So us being the protector of the home is actually us standing in a position we were not created to be in. And if I talk to most women, we don't want to be the leaders. I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to be the decision maker. I don't want to be the strong one. I want you to be the strong one. For real, I want my man to be the strong one. I want you to tell what we doing. I give you my opinion. I always got an opinion, but I don't want to be the strong one today. And what God was showing me is, I know what you're saying, but when I throw you the ball, I need you to know how to dribble that thing and do something with it. It's one thing to say in theory, I don't want to be the leader, but are you doing that in practice? And what I'm doing in practice is self-preservation. What I'm doing in practice is I'm trying to protect myself from pain. So me being self-preservation mode is, if I'm triggered. And you actually, and I might be saying on people's talk, you may be self-sabotaging relationships, distancing yourself from people you actually desire in self-preservation mode. And that, for me, as a woman, where I'm at, God is dealing with me about that. You can't do that. That self-preservation mode in teammate, self-preservation mode in inner canal gato, whatever that word is, or Ezer canal gato, whatever the word is in Hebrew. Those two don't work. Now, self-preservation mode God has shown me in a certain season that was good for me. It protected me. It kept me safe. There were things God was taking me out of. There was things that I needed to remove myself from, right? But now when I'm surrendering to a process with God, and he's like, listen, when I bring, you don't leave that. You figure it out. In our generation, what we're taught is, if you don't make me feel good, if you don't do it the way I want you to do it, if you say anything that steps on a trigger, I'm out. That's not God. Or distance, or silent treatment, or playing games. That is not God. That is not God's ordained way for us to deal with the people he has placed in our lives. Again, the people he has placed, not ourselves, not me, Sam want this, because I know the difference now. I know when it's me and I know when it's God. Right? When God places a man in my life, he's like, listen, when I throw this ball at you, he has warned me multiple times. When I send mine, I need you to get it together. Don't do that. You're not to be the woman in the motorcycle. Masculine, self-preservation mode, sabotaging what I'm building. Right? So that was number one, was God dealing with me in that specific area. Okay? So that's number one. Number one is that, right? And so number two is carrying weight that does not belong to me. So I think a lot of women, a lot of people, like I know for myself, I am very, I take a lot on. I do. I work a lot. I take a lot on. And with that being said, a guy's already showing me, like, you're carrying weight that doesn't belong to you. What does that mean? You're kind of a control freak. You need to relax. Like, that's not gonna bode well with your spouse. Your spouse needs you, A, to be locked in, not in self-preservation mode. He needs you to be there. He needs you to be present. He doesn't need you to be in protection mode. He needs your presence. He needs your patience and your presence and that nurturing aspect of you that you do have. You do have it, but you shut that down from men experiencing that from you. But when I bring, he need that. He need all that. He need the sand package. He needs all that. Whatever I created you with, it in your femininity, I need you to rest in that for him. Because you being loud, you being in self-preservation mode, you being easily triggered, you being the self-preservation, it ain't gonna work with him. Yo man ain't he ain't going for that. He's not going for that. He don't play that. Yes, you look like a woman. He wants you to act like one too. I'm like, woo, golly, Lord. Has he spoken to you about this? I was like, God, why? He's so harsh. Ooh, who is this man? Who do you think he is? Like what? That's what I'm saying, man. When you decide to walk in with God, he cleans up the woman for you. I haven't had one conversation with this person. Like, well, maybe I have. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, he clean up the situation before you even step in there. He's like, oh, no. See, he don't deal with that. He don't deal with that. He's not gonna handle that very well. He want to be the only man in that. You can be goofy, be yourself. You like your personality. Yeah, he gonna love that. Or he loved that, whatever. He might be watching me now. He like your personality. He think you fine. He think you good. Like, he think you fine or whatever. He all in. But that self-preservation mode you got going on, that wall, oh yeah, no, that's not gonna work for him. I'm like, what? That's gonna trigger him. God is already. Can you imagine that? God telling me, he's like, that's gonna trigger that man. I'm like, Yeah. You. So that was number one. Like I said, number two was carrying weight that don't belong to me. And when we carry extra weight, meaning that family, when we're trying to control variables we can't control, when we are stressing all day long about like what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that. And y'all, I could do the what if dance all day long. I could say what if, 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 what if. I could do that. I mean, I really can. I am a master at creating worst case scenarios. And I will stay right there. I.e., you see my eyes. TikTok, you see how it's like up right over here? Yeah. I am a Jedi at creating the worst case scenario. I'm a Jedi at it. I have practiced it for many years, and I will ruminate and I will be stressed out about a situation I created in my head. And they say, you know, I think it's like 97% of the things we fear never happen, or it's probably even higher than that. But I know it's like high 90s. I think it's like 98, 97, 99. It's like something like that, like 97%, I think it is. 97% of the things that we fear never happen. And so I'm literally a Jedi. I'm like, oh, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? And that literally, you know, God is dealing with me about that. But when I'm thinking like that, and therefore I'm trying to control variables because of that thought process, because of that belief, I'm actually getting in the way of femininity because I'm trying to control everything. I'm carrying that don't belong to me. The Bible talks about casting your care upon him, for he cares for you. Right? So the weight that I'm carrying to try to deal with, to try to deal with certain feelings, like because I'm trying to protect myself. I'm so much in self-preservation mode that I'm overly trying to control the variables. I'm trying to control the communication. And family, can we be honest? That's when we start to try to like control even how the communication. You play games. We play games to gain control. That's why we play games. That's why we play the texting game. That's why we play mind games. That's why we don't text back. That's why we strategically do this, we do that. We see you meet a woman tonight, you really like her, you're not gonna text her for 3 days. Then you sit her like with like a one message, and then it's like, oh, okay, well then blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna say anything to her. I'm just gonna look at her, and maybe she'll reach out to me. Maybe she'll do this. Maybe she'll do that. I go with guys all day. Men will talk to me. Well, I saw this woman. I really like her. I thought about her. I met her a month ago. I said, what's up? She kind of gave me like a cold, like little, like, I'm good. And I'm like, no, like she's going to have to hit me up now. These are games. We're playing games. That's our biggest issue. We're all so afraid of these variables that we now are actually manipulating our communication so that we're in control. We're the power player. We don't want to be the non-power player. And honestly, for men, I understand why men are like, I'm kind of taking the defense because, you know, the way that women do it. But men, I would encourage you, seek the Lord for your wife. If God says a woman is yours, or God keeps drawing you to a woman, you pursue her. That's your divine. That's your situation. That's your business. God is not going to just hand her to you on a platter. He's going to make you, he's going to put you in a position to get dominion. I've been watching these men talk about like when they found out who their wives were and things like that. Like God puts you in the position to pursue because he created you to pursue. He created her to present. He created you to pursue. So you waiting around for her to hit you up and you know that's your woman, or you know, and again, guys, you absolutely have to have a situation where you're seeking the Lord about it. Somebody didn't just say he handed Eve to Adam. He didn't hand her to Adam. What happened in that story? Tell me what happened in that story. From what I remember, he created her, and that man had to present himself to her. He went to her and he told her, you are bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. That was the first marriage ceremony. He married that one. He said, "No, I'm knocking it down. Like it's done." It's the first man who took dominion. He took dominion over Eve. That's what he did in Genesis. He took dominion. He said, "Oh, that's me. Okay, period. Say less. Bone of my bone, flesh of my." That's where we get rib from. That's where we get rib from. No, that's not what he said to. Why would he need to say that to God? He said it to God. It was a ceremony. That's the first covenant we see in Scripture. He took dominion. That's what he did. Now, you guys want to create new rules, you can. But if you every man, once the Holy Spirit or God presented the woman, again, seeking the Lord about your wife, seeking the Lord about your next, not what you think looks good, not who you watch all the time, but who you are drawn to, who God is. You like, God, is this her? And you being, again, you have to have a certain level of a connection with God to hear God, because if you're living whatever kind of way, it's going to be hard for you to hear God. The purer your connection, the better you hear God. Right? And so again, it's really about God is going to put you in a position to pursue. And if you don't want to pursue, if you rather somebody pursue you, you want the woman to pursue you, you want to be asked out on a date, do your thing. I don't want that type of man. I'm be honest with you. I want a man that's going to take dominion. That's what I want. A man that's going to argue with me about what happened with Adam and Eve in the garden is not the one. I'm sorry. That's not. I'm not going to sit here and argue like, well, technically Adam was put to sleep and then the rib came out and then she was there. And then he said to God, this is rib of my rib, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. And that's when it was. So it really wasn't even like he had to do anything. God just like brought her to him. And then I don't want you. We doing too much. I wouldn't want a man like that. I'm sorry. No disrespect. No disrespect. You do you. There's women that want to pursue. There are women that want to pursue. I just saw a story about a woman and she wanted to pursue her man and she proposed to him. That is your girl. That's not me, beloved. That ain't gonna be. I want a man to hunt and gather and be, that's mine. Like I want that. I like that. That is me. And that is what God has shown me about my spouse. I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful that my spouse is that type of man. I'm thankful for that. I can't wait. I can't wait for his masculine self. I can't wait for that. But y'all do what y'all want. Yeah, you want a woman to do that? Do it. I'll cool. Mm-hmm. He said, "Why am I so silly?" Okay. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's besides the point. We're gonna go with the next thing. So we talked about the fact that carrying weight that don't belong to you. When you are carrying weight that does not belong to you, you are heavy. Like, right? You ever been around somebody and the energy's just heavy? They're feeling they feel heavy. It's like it's too much, right? And I think that, like, I've been around people and it's like they're always going through things. Like, they have a very heavy energy. And I think God has really worked on me about, like, a lot of times when we're always heavy, we're carrying weight that doesn't belong to us. We're stressing about tomorrow. We're stressing about next week. We're stressing about next month. I actually just talked to a woman the other day and she was telling me about like her work situation. And I was telling her, I was like, okay, this is funny. Okay. People so crazy. But anyway, she was telling me about her work situation and things like that. And I gave her a word that I feel like God gave me. And I said, just like the last time, just go ahead and pray about it. Just go ahead and pray about it. And why don't you involve God in the process? Well, she involved God in the process. She had 2 job offers the next week. Right. Sometimes we carry weight and we carry this weight. We try to do it in our own strength and we're heavy. our energy, our spirit is heavy because we're trying to hold God weight and we're not God. And so the second thing God was dealing with me about was carrying weight that does not belong to me is God weight. And therefore, when I'm supposed to be light and fluffy in a pillow, I'm actually bringing baggage to a situation that I'm not supposed to bring baggage to. And how many of us do that? We utilize this person to dump all of our emotional stuff, and we haven't even brought it to God. And so God has really been dealing with me about being like bringing that stuff to him. And of course, when you obviously you'll share in a relationship and things like that, but he was like, I got you. Like, you're carrying weight that don't belong to you. Like, this is a life lesson. Because you can't be worrying about tomorrow, worrying about a month from now, worrying about 3 months from now, and be present. And so when we're carrying weight that doesn't belong to us, we're heavier and we're not present. We're not present. We can't be present. We can't be present and thinking about all the things that could go wrong. And so we have to do, Soraya. We have to do things when we're dating, when we're in relationships with people that God has brought into our lives. We cannot allow ourselves to be consumed with the things of this world, so much so that we can't be present for what we need to be present for. We over here researching what happens if this happens, what happens if that happens, but we're not present for what we need to be present for. Right. And so that's a really big thing God has been dealing with me about, like for real. So that's number 2, is carrying weight that doesn't belong to me. So self-preservation, which is like, trying to protect myself from pain. So any step of a trigger, I'm out. Like, I'm distancing myself. And God has been dealing with me about, like, no, like, when I bring them, stay. If I tell you to stay, you stay. Right. Number 2 is, like I said, carrying weight that doesn't belong to me. I said 4. I might just end at 3. But number 3 that I saw or I noticed in the dream that I'm going to talk about on the positive side was how the woman was just patiently allowing the man to be a man. Like, she wasn't trying to control the situation. She wasn't trying to stop him from being whoever he wanted to be with his child at that moment. Like, you stop, you're doing too much in the grocery. Stop. It's like, no, like, they having fun. Let them have a moment. Like, she wasn't trying to she was patient. And I am not patient. I'm not. I have not been known to be the most patient of people, for sure. I have struggled with patience. And so God was like, you need to be patient. Like, this woman was fit. She wasn't carrying weight that didn't belong to her. But then at the same time, she was patient. She was allowing this man to do him. And she wasn't interfering. She wasn't allowing her impatience to stop a moment that maybe that child would remember, right? And a lot of ladies, we're impatient. We want things when we want them. And we don't allow people to be who they are and allow them to go through their process. And so God has been dealing with me a lot about patience, a lot. I mean, that is like the number 1 thing. That is the number 1 thing God has been dealing with me about. Patience. Like, she was light. She was just there. She was present, but she was patient. And I think a lot of us, we're in a generation that wants things fast, wants things our way. And I think we get things faster by just letting things be. Like, I feel like some people that I know, like, they go in the relationship. I want to say, oh, let me say, Truth Music, thank you so much for supporting. Thank you. But when you're being, you want things like this, and so you're trying to press it. And I feel like you would get it so much faster if you didn't press it. right? Like you might meet people and they're like, you know, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're buying a car, right? The sales clerk just kind of lets you do you and, you know, like checks in, but isn't like on you. You're more likely to buy a car from them than the person that's like, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up. Like the other day I was looking for like insurance, right? And I'm like, you know, going through the insurance and they are blowing me up. They're literally calling my phone 87 times a day. I will never go with you if you're calling me that many times. Like the pressure. It's just the patience. I'm trying to wear you down and get you on the phone and lock in this deal. And it's like, I don't want it. Like you pressing me. I can't. In the lack of patience, a lot of times we think it's like pushing us forward, but it's actually taking us back. Now, I do think there's a limit to patience. I don't like it, you know, but there's a flip side to it. I think there's a limit to patience. Like there's a level where you've been too patient. I think you have to have limits, right? So you don't just let somebody, I don't believe in being a doormat, but I believe patience is a virtue for a reason. We have to learn how to be patient. People are they're not marching to the video drum. But at the same time, you also have to have a limit. You have to have a limit to patience. But one of the main things I saw of that woman was that she was patient. She was patient. And she allowed that. I think men are better at patience than women, if I'm being honest. I really do. I think men are way, way better at being patient than women. Honestly. They're not trying to, they're just kind of like, okay, you know, like I feel like men are better at just going with the flow, whereas like women are not. Women are not. And the last thing I want to bring up, because patience is a big thing. What I noticed about the young lady that I thought that was I hate this one guy. I don't want to say this one, but I'm gonna say it. She understood silence as a virtue. You ain't always got to speak on everything you say. She was wise in her words. She chose her battles. She didn't have to speak on and address every single thing. She was wise with her words. She was wise with her words. And I think that I'm not the wisest with my words. You know, sometimes it's not worth the argument. Sometimes it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And God has to constantly tell me about, like, I started forgiving God. Like, you know how often God has forgiven me and given me grace and he's given me mercy. And yet I got to address every little thing because I don't want to be, because again, going back to self-preservation mode, I don't want to be hurt. So now I feel like I got to address everything. And now I'm making somebody pay for something they didn't do, right? Like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Like, why you relax? You know what I'm saying? Like, chill. Maybe it wasn't that time. Maybe it wasn't like she allowed that. She wasn't trying to stop it. She wasn't trying to, like, why are you doing that? Like, she wasn't nagging. She wasn't doing too much. She just let them be themselves. Like, she wasn't trying to, like, again, there's limits, right? But I'm going to err on the side of, I'm going to probably address a lot more than I should. There's certain things, there's certain battles you don't have to fight. There's certain things that are not worth the argument, not worth the lack of peace. It's just not worth it. right? And I've had to learn that over the years. Like some things are just not worth it. Some things are just not worth it. And we don't, and somebody said over here, very good, Ed. I love that you said that. It says self-preservation is selfish. Absolutely. It is selfish. You're absolutely right, Ed. That is the point. When we're in a relationship and we're like in a God-ordained relationship, it's not about, oh, I do this because you do this and you do this because I do this. It's about like putting that person at the center. Really putting God at the center. Like I'm doing right by you because God has called me to do right by you. I'm doing this because God has called me to do this. Not because I'm doing you a favor, not because you did this for me yesterday, so I'm doing this for you today. Like I'm good to you because God has called you to be good to you. God has called me to be good to you. God has called me to be faithful. God has called me to love you even when you unlovable. God has called me to do those things. I'm not doing you a favor. I am honoring my God through the covenant that I have with you. Right. And so a lot of times we feel like people owe us things because we doing right by them. No, they don't owe you nothing. This is you're honestly doing yourself a favor by doing right by your wife. She's doing you a favor she's doing herself a favor by doing right by you. We're not talking about earthly kingdom. We talking about what you're doing in heaven. Like God, if you look in the Bible, all throughout the Bible, God honors a husband. I believe it's in the New Testament where it talks about how you do your wife, God sees that. And he honors you for how you do your wife. How you treat her, I believe it's in Ephesians. How you treat her determines the kind of blessing you get. So you do you a favor by doing good things and being right to your spouse or the spouse that God has given you. She also gets blessings and favor, not only for herself, but for her family, for the way that she does right by you. Right. So again, we like our culture is like tit for tat. I do this, you do that. I do this, you do that. No, I love you and I'm gonna love you well, not because you deserve it or you earn it. It's to model the relationship Jesus has with us. He loves us despite how we do, despite how we act, despite how many times we fall short. He loves us anyway. We are to model that. That's why marriage in the Bible is referenced a lot when God talks about the bride, which is the church. It should be, I love you and I'm gonna love you well because God told me to do it. Because God brought you into my world and I'm gonna honor that covenant because God told me to do that. Some of us just think it's, oh, we get married and it's selfish reasons. It's just for you. Oh, I'm getting married because I want a wife, but you don't want to be a husband. You just want somebody there. You just want somebody around. You don't want to honor them. You don't want to love them well. You're the star of the show. You're not looking for somebody to love and love well. Same thing with the wife. You're not looking to be, you want a husband, but you're not a wife. You're not looking to love somebody well. You're selfish. When you're selfish, people should not get married. It should be about the fact that, like, listen, when I'm in this situation, I need to be thinking about how I serve her well, and she needs to be thinking about how I serve him well. And it's not contingent upon whether or not he serves me well. It's contingent upon if God brought me into it, I'm gonna serve this person well. Right? That's what it's about. I think that's where God had to really deal with me. It's like you're in this mode, in the mode that you're in, the self-preservation mode, impatience, easily triggered. Always, sometimes you say too much. Sometimes there's a lot of virtue and a lot of wisdom in staying silent, letting things go. And letting things go in a sense that I'm carrying weight that doesn't belong to me, but letting things go and saying that I I don't need to say everything. I don't need to address everything. Some things are just not worth disrupting peace. I've had to learn that over time, and especially in this journey, God has dealt with some of the things I've used to protect me. And those things, I don't want to say are all masculine or whatever, but in the dream, it was a masculine presenting woman. And she was selfish. And she was only thinking about protecting herself. That's why she was in a motorcycle. She wasn't even in a car. And she called it chasing her peace. When in all actuality, no. You're not chasing peace. It's not about peace. It's about you wanting to protect yourself. So anything that feels unsafe, you're chasing safety versus chasing peace. Peace and safety are not the same things. God will ask you to take risks in this journey that feel very unsafe. I know it. But you'll have peace in the midst of a risk. You'll have peace in the midst of a storm. The storm in the Bible, when it was like the storms are crashing, the waves are crashing against the boat. They didn't feel safe. Jesus was asleep in the storm. What does that mean? That means it doesn't have to be safe. They're in the midst of maybe getting shipwrecked on the ocean in the midst of a storm. He has peace. We call chasing peace, chasing safety, chasing certainty, chasing comfort. That's not peace. Peace and comfort are not the same things. Nate, great point, Nate. Nate says, also the woman that was bleeding for 12 years had to take a risk. She had to take a risk. We call us staying in the boat and protecting ourselves peace. It's not peace. Us isolating ourselves from what we desire because we're afraid of getting hurt again is not peace. That is you trying to protect yourself, and God is calling you out of the boat. God is calling you to take the risk. God is calling you to pursue and do whatever that is, whether it's a job, whether it's whatever that is for you. God is calling you to take a risk. God is calling you out of the boat. God is calling you to higher and bigger levels. And the only way you get there is by taking the risk. There are things that you desire deep down inside that you have stifled or pushed down, those desires that come up at the end of the night when you're in the bed and you by yourself and you're like, dang, I really would love this. I would really want this. I really desire this. You push those things down because you've been hurt and you don't want to put yourself out there again. I'm here to tell you that God is calling you out of the boat. I'm here to tell you that pain cannot continue to predict the future. You cannot allow pain to rob you of the future that God has for you. Do not allow pain to steal legacy from you. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Every time you decide to take a step forward in the right direction, the enemy is right there trying to take you off your path, trying to remind you of what happened the last time, fear is a terrible boss. It's a terrible master. And a lot of us, most of us are mastered by fear. We are mastered by fear. And we call it, oh, we're pursuing our peace. No, you're run by fear. Fear is not a good master. Fear is not a good master. It will keep you right where you are. No more, no less. Fear is not a good master. Somebody said, thank you for sharing. I'm not going to say your name. Been divorced for 2 years. Been praying about when I should date again. Thank you. And I think, to be honest with you, I think 2 years is about the time honestly, I feel like on average, men start to desire a relationship again after 2 years of a divorce. Men need that 2 years. I hate to say it, men need that 2 years. They need all that 2 years. They need 2 years of like, we just out here. Do not depend on me. Do not depend on me. I am not emotionally available. Y'all should walk around, even the men that try to jump into a relationship, y'all ain't really, y'all might jump down the aisle again, but you are not emotionally available. I'm sorry. I've met so many, even the men that jump into a relationship, they're not emotionally available. They just want to be in a relationship. Y'all need 2 years. When men go, the 2 year is like a number for y'all. That's when y'all, okay, let's go. I'm ready to have a wife again. Where's she at? Where my girl at? I'm ready for some companionship, consistency. Because men do well. I'm sorry, we gonna talk about it. Men do well in marriage. They do. Women do well in marriage. We all do. We just see all the stuff in the media, and we just say, "Oh, I don't want to get married because I don't," or I went through a really bad divorce, or this, that, and third, and I don't want to go through that again. Which, hey, listen, I understand, but I will not allow you. If you're watching my live, I will not allow you to allow past pain to determine your future. I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you do it. Why? Because your legacy covenant is part of legacy. You look through the Bible. It's all about legacy and covenant. I don't care what your family did. I don't care what your family did before that. When men find their person, when you link up with your girl, when the woman that God has for you, you go up. It's up. It's up. When you find a woman that God has for you, oh, it's up. Not who you chose for you, who God has, it's up. It's up. It's up. Men do very well. We only hear about the stories that they didn't. But when you find yo, this God brought her into my life. Oh, yeah, it's up. Men do well. Well. Women do well. We both do well. It's just this our society is killing the family unit and saying that's not true, but it's not. It's I don't think that we're searching from the right heart posture. We're not seeking the Lord. I'm sorry. When we don't have God in a covenant He created, we're lost. I'm sorry. That's what I believe. I believe that when you bring God into it, you can't. God tell you, oh, that's your woman. I'm like, for real? Okay. When you get that message from God, oh yeah, it's different. Because now God has ordained the union. That doesn't mean it's not going to be work, but when God tell you, it's different. When you see her in a dream, or you see her in a vision, or somebody else, you see that you have a dream, and then somebody else confirms it by like somebody at wise counsel, like, oh, I had peace about that. Yeah, bro, I believe that. I sense that strongly in the spirit. We're not talking about your homeboys. You're talking about men that are with the Holy Spirit. Wise counsel. Not your homeboys. Not barbershop talk. Saying, oh, she bad. No. Talking about wise counsel. Mm-hmm. That's when giving you I think that's you, bro. Yeah. You go. Why? Because all the enemy is trying to do is he's trying to steal your family line. He's trying to steal your legacy. That's what he's trying to steal. You can't let him do that. A lot of men let him do that. Oh, I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to. Okay. Let the enemy steal. Let him do it. Just let him, because you're afraid. Don't make that admirable. So now again, some people don't want to get married and never want to get married. Cool. That's fine. Not everybody's meant to get married again. Not everybody's meant, but I'm sorry, but most men, I believe. Yeah. You're not sitting there like, I don't want to be with nobody. You like, spoiler alert, if you got to be with a woman at least once a month, you got to be around some estrogen. Yeah, you're not meant to be single. The Apostle Paul was single. He didn't want it. He never was with a woman. He was abstinent or celibate his entire life. That's what I'm talking about. Can you do that or no? We're talking about biblical. I'm talking about men of God. You want to be abstinent? Can you be celibate for the rest? You can be by yourself and celibate for the rest of your life? Then okay, cool. But if there's a part of you that once a month you gotta smell estrogen, you gotta be around some pheromones. Yes, you're supposed to be somebody's husband. Yes, you are. You are. It is what it is. So I would argue most men and most women want to be with somebody. So seek God about it. Go into a real situation with God. Get in alignment with God and allow him to bring. Allow him to bring. Allow him to prepare you for what you're looking for. Instead of going rogue, instead of trying to see this girl on Instagram that you think is really bad, like, no. Like, seek the Lord about it. Ask God about it. Let him show you. How many stories have I heard about men? And this is the last thing. They had a dream. Or they just had this, knowing, like, there's something about this girl. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's something about her. I just can't run away from it. I just don't. It's something about her. Like, I can't, like, I normally would be able to just go away and, I normally would just go away and I could leave her alone. But this one, I don't know what it is about her. I don't know. It's something about her. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. That might be God telling you, okay, that's you, or that's I'm working on that. Like, that's something that's like that, right? Pay attention, because a lot of these guys I've seen, their stories, it's like God tells them, like, they see the girl or they have a conversation with her and they're like, oh, okay, so that's her. Okay. And that might scare some men. I've seen men that be like, oh, I knew it was my wife, but I needed time, bro. I wasn't ready. And they got to go in their part. They got to do their thing and then they got to come back. Some men, they know immediately and they go and pursue and they get married. But you see a lot of men that seek the Lord about it. God will tell you. And then you seek wise counsel about it. You don't just say, God told me and I run with it. You go seek the Lord about it. Like, seek wise counsel. Tell somebody, like, hey, I just got this prompting. And they're going to be like, okay, so what happened? What do you feel? Get with wise counsel. Tell somebody you can trust. This is what I really sense. This is what I really feel. And allow that to be how you move forward, right? That's just wisdom. You don't want to just, I see a lot of men and a lot of women, they don't consult nobody. They just go off of, like, they had a dream, and you can do that, but you want to be around, you need to be around wise counsel. You need to bring that before somebody you trust in the faith, that here's the Holy Spirit to help you with that. That's men and women. I see a lot of women doing that. Oh, that's my husband. I had a dream about him. Have you consulted anybody else but yourself about that? You bring that before other people. You don't just keep that to yourself. You don't just, oh, I have dreams. Oh, I think he's fine. I have dreams. It must be my husband. No, you got to bring that to your sisters in Christ. You bring that to a discipleship leader. You bring that. You say, hey, listen, not if they agree. Does this resonate with you? Like, let's pray about this. Does this resonate? I've had people say this to me and I'll be like, sis, I don't sense that that's your husband. I don't sense it at all. Like, my spirit is rejecting that. I would seek the Lord about that a little bit more. And I've had people argue with me, and that's fine, because I'm not God. But you come into, I receive the information. I'll pray with them. I will, and there have been a lot of times I will wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, God is not letting me know. It's not settling with my spirit at all. That's not your husband. That is the benefit of wise counsel, because we can deceive ourselves. Jeremiah 17:9 says, the heart is deceitful above all things. It is sick and desperately wicked. Who can understand it? Right? Our heart, we can deceive ourselves. So definitely seek wise counsel about what you are sensing and then go from there. I've seen that. I've seen that time and time again. where people just go off of what I heard this and I'm running with it. And it's like, I think when you're like seeking God about something, I truly believe in wise counsel and people holding you accountable. Honestly. Because we can, if we're in the world and we're not really, we're half stepping, we lukewarm, we going here and there. I believe God can talk to you for sure, but you don't know, you're not clear, you're not in purity, right? You got to be, and the enemy is deceitful. The enemy would love for you to be hung up on a woman and you not really, So yeah. I really believe that. You have to seek the Lord, family. Seek the Lord about it. Seek wise counsel, and don't just like think that you're right. Like that's ignorant. And again, then when God confirms it, then you run. You basically stay there. You stay obedient. You seek God about it. You seek wise counsel. If it's confirmed, if somebody's like, oh yeah, bro, I definitely see that. I can sense that. I pray. I got, yeah. That's gotta be you. Bro, it's gotta be you. Whatever that is. And it's not about whether they agree or not. It's like, does this resonate? Then you go from there. Right? Then you either ask God to get you ready, or if you sense you've been through a process and God is telling you to move, you move. God's gonna tell you. You surrender to the Holy Spirit, he's gonna be like, it's time, go. It is time, it is your time. It's time for you to go. I have orchestrated the circumstances. It is your time. Beloved, run. Run after her. Run after, whatever. With women, I don't believe in women pursuing men. I believe in women presenting yourself, but not playing, you pray about it. You continue to pray about it, seek the Lord about it, and allow him to lead and guide your steps. If your husband's revealed, it's not for you to reach out to this man and say, hey, you're my husband. Like, no, I don't believe that that's the way you're supposed to do it. Yeah. Okay. So, I see a thing, and you know what I'm going to do, John, I'm going to hold that thought. I'm going to end the live now, but I'm going to let's talk about that next week. Okay. How can you have faith when everything is going wrong? I love that. I'm going to talk about that next week. For sure. I'm going to talk about that next week. So, how can you have faith when everything is going wrong? I need to write that down. I'm going to write that down when I get off. I will answer next week. Come back, John, and I got to answer for you, okay? Because I am adequately familiar with that this week. So I will definitely be here and tell you everything. All right. So I love you guys. Have a good night. And I will see you guys next week. Okay. I hope this live was helpful, y'all. I really do. I love y'all. Love you, TikTok. TikTok. And now. And gotta go. Bye-bye.